Hey there guys, Blaze here, and welcome to my Smash 4 Machinima tutorial. This video is going to be teaching you guys the basics on how to start your very own Smash 4 Machinima. This video will be going over Smash 4 for the Wii U. I am not going to be going over the 3DS because I do not have a 3DS capture card, but I might do so in the later future. I'm going to be showing you from my perspective of how I machinimate, and I'll be giving you some tips when you're going to begin your very own machinima. So with that being said, let's begin. Okay, to start things off, we will be needing a capture card. A capture card is a device that allows you to record video from other sources such as from your TV to your video game consoles and other such products. Namely though, the more popular ones that a lot of people have been getting will either be from Hauppauge or Elgato, but you can use other capture cards as well as long as they can record from like 60 frames per second and they can have a resolution of 720 or 1080. Although, capture cards are a little bit pricey though. They can range from between $200 to $300 depending on which one you'll be getting, and I know a lot of people don't have the requirements to buy those said capture card. Luckily though, there is an alternative to capture Smash 4 footage, and to make it machinimated too. Discovered by RetroPixels, luckily you can use the YouTube service that Smash 4 has, and you can upload your videos into YouTube. And what's even better is the fact that when it's uploading to YouTube, you can actually watch the entire fight, and while that's happening, you can actually mess around with the camera angles during that capture recording, and those angles that you're doing during the recording will actually be on the final product of the YouTube video that's being uploaded. So basically, you can still capture Smash 4 footage without a capture card. But there are some limits though. You can only do up to 3 minutes with the YouTube service in Smash 4. So it's best that you try to get the best shots you can get, or you have to do multiple takes and multiple shots that you're gonna have to upload. And luckily with YouTube, you can actually download your own video from your own channel and you can save it into your computer. You can then start having your own footage, and afterwards you can start editing them. So let's move on to the next part. Now that we talked about how to capture, or what you need to capture your footage, let's go talk about software. Now the basic thing you will definitely need is a video editing program. I would suggest, if you're not too savvy with video editing, to start small with Movie Maker. You don't have many options as some other ones, but it's a basic start to get a feel. I would most personally prefer if you go with Sony Vegas. With that program, you can have a lot more options in editing. You can have multiple tracks of audio and video, and you can do a lot more with that program. But there are other video editing programs you can choose from, such as Avid, Final Cut Pro, Adobe Premiere, and many more. And if you ever need to alter any images or still images that you want to use in your short, I would suggest using Photoshop. But if you're kind of short on the cash there, you can also use GIMP as well. If you're going to be needing voiceover, I would recommend the audio program Audacity. It's free and it's pretty easy to use once you get the hang of it. There are other audio recording software out there, although I would recommend having Audacity as a start for those who are trying to get into voiceover. I know that these programs are very costly though, so most of these programs can range from between $100 to about $500. It's a little costly, but I'm pretty sure you might find a way to somehow get these programs. Now, with that being said, let's move on to the next part. Now, before we start capturing, let us do some preparations. First, let's go to the main menu. In the main menu, select Games and More. Next, go to the very right and select Options. Afterwards, go to Sound. From there, let us lower the music all the way down to 0. This will be an important part when you're going to be post-editing. That way you can add whatever music you want on whatever stage you want. Next, for people who are going to be using voiceover, I recommend setting the voices to 0. Unlike Super Smash Bros. Brawl, this was a new addition in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. With that, the in-game voices of the character will not be interfering with your voice actor's lines. So it's a very nice feature to have in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. Now that we have that taken care of, let's go back to the main menu. In the main menu, select Smash, and let's go to the Rules tab. In the Rules tab, let's go into Item Switch. And the most important thing to do is to turn off all your items, to select none, and make sure that no item tab is turned on. If you're going to be needing an item for a certain part of your recording, I would recommend to set the setting to low, and to have only one item at a time. Multiple items set on low could easily ruin whatever shot you want to do. Once we have finished that, let's go to the rules. For anyone who has a capture card, I would recommend going into stock. The only reason I would choose stock is because the fact that you won't have to be worrying about the issue of having the timer on the top right corner of your screen, because in replays the clock will be playing on the top right. Remember this though, for those of you who do not have a capture card and are going to be using the YouTube method shown in the previous part, I would recommend to go into time. That way you can be able to have a timer as to see how much you can do in that set amount of time. Once we have all of those things done, select the characters you want, pick the stage that you want to set into, and begin puppeteering your actions. On a note, if you leave the match with forced quitting, you will not be able to save the replay. Sadly, in the new mechanic of Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, the only way to end the match is by having somebody lose their last stock, or by having the time go down to 0. So with that being said, I would suggest at first check out the replay and start messing with your camera. And trust me, it'll help you out a lot if you get used to the controls. Afterwards, when you feel like you're ready, start capturing, whether it be from a capture card or the YouTube method. Now let's move on to the next segment, editing. Now that we have our raw footage, let's begin editing. Now for the editing portion, I am going to be using Sony Vegas. Now for those of you who are using a different program for editing, it should be a bit similar, but hopefully your program does have some essential edits and tools that you can use. Now then, let's begin. Okay, so we will be opening up a new project folder for Sony Vegas. From here, I would recommend right-clicking to make a video track and an audio track. I already have a folder with a couple of clips, so I'll be using one of my shorts for this example. So I'll be dragging and dropping this clip right here, just like that. And from then on, we'll go ahead and try editing to a point where, let's see, at least from here. As long as we can skip the 3, 2, 1 countdown. We'll just stop right here. You can either use the S tool like this and just split the clip like that, or just drag and drop to, you know, the entire track. One way or another. Anyway though, let's undo the last part. Okay. So, we want to get rid of this, the whole percentage and the icons right here. So, let's just zoom in right here using the zoom in tracker. You see this button right here? This is the event pan / crop. This is one of the most important tools for your video editing. So you click here and we see a new page tab right here. It could be different the layout of your Sony Vegas, but if you can find this tab, that'll be great. So anyway, I'm just gonna drag my arrow from the very bottom square right here from the center and go all the way up. And there you go. We got rid of that percentage. Let me slow this down a little bit. There you go. And like that, we don't see it anymore. And from this method, it's called letterboxing. This gives it a more like cinematic view, because I know certain cinemas had this style of, you know, of display in some of their movies. But if you don't like this kind of method, there's also another way where you can just, you know, have the full picture and not have these two black bars on the top and bottom. Alternatively too, you can use the same method when you have a timer on the very top. So if you are using the YouTube method, is, you know, keep using the letterbox method to just cover up the time that's on top. That's on the top right. Anyway though, so if you guys want to fix this method, you grab the center of the box that's on the right and just keep dragging, dragging, dragging. Keep on dragging. And there you go. We have ourselves a full covered motion picture right there. Yeah. Anyway though, so with that being said, we can even go ahead and play the clip. So yeah, as you can tell, it does make a lot of a difference on the entire, on the entire clip. And if you want to, you can keep on zooming in and keep, getting it more closer and closer if you don't like this kind of view. And you can just keep, messing around with the, with the angles and such. Anyway though, that'll be it for the editing part of this video. One quick note is the fact that I'm not going to be going over voice acting or getting voice actors or scripting, but I will leave some very quick tips. If you're trying to get people to voice act in your series, I would recommend looking into Voice Acting Club, Voice Acting Alliance, but personally, I prefer Casting Call Club. You can get a lot of great auditions and you can meet new people and get contacts and such. I also recommend when you do scripting, you can either use Word, you can also use another program called Celtics, but with Word, I would say look up into script formats so that way you can make your script look professional when you're sending it to your actors. Another quick note, it's not easy being original, but sometimes a lot of certain ideas or mainstream stuff is already out there and most people will try copying the exact same thing. But, I'm just saying it's always trying your best to see and come up with something silly. Something like no one expects. It's always something fun when people are caught off guard with something they did not expect to see in the video. And those are going to be my only tips, but I will be leaving a couple of links to show you some other tutorials from good friends of mine in the Machinima community about getting voice actors and also how to do scripting and storytelling. If you have any more questions, just leave a comment below and I'll be telling you guys some other methods and other ways you can implement for your own Smash Machinima. I hope that this tutorial was very helpful for you guys, and I just really can't wait to see your own Machinima series taking off. And remember, you can always keep on checking out my channel, BlazeToast16J, for more other videos, such as my own Machinima series, Epic Grinders of Blaze. You can also check out Weekly Smash, my Smash Bros. Show, and of course Blaze Plays, which is just various gameplays of other games that I've been playing. So with that being said, guys, until next time, this is Blaze, signing out.